Alright, we made it to South Korea. A lot of the footage is in verticals, so sadly we have to live with the scuffed footage. Day 1, it's 9 to 10 p.m. It took me 2 hours to get out of the airport, getting through security, then messing around with the ATMs, and afterwards trying to figure out how to take the late night bus. So first issue. Didn't realize that my credit card wouldn't be accepted at the ATM in the airport. This was a huge oversight. I should have exchanged money beforehand when I was in Japan. Luckily, I was able to get a late night bus from Incheon Airport to Seoul, and that was around $10 to $20 Canadian if I remember correctly. Now, I could have taken the train. I really couldn't because I needed money to buy passes. So, next step, getting off the bus station, I had to walk a bit. The great thing, I was packing light, so, I only had a backpack, no suitcases being dragged around and whatnot. After getting off at the bus station, I had to walk a little bit, but, it was all good. Great thing, I was packing really light, only had a backpack, no suitcases needed to be dragged around. One thing I noticed that night, there was barely anyone driving around, other than taxis. Honestly, didn't even want to bother using a taxi because if my credit card didn't work, that would be a whole thing. And yeah, so I just started walking to the hotel. Now that we had money, a place to stay, we were relatively recovered. The next step was, yes, I still did not have access to data. So I did some searching around for a SIM card, and you may be wondering, why didn't you get one at the airport? They actually didn't have any, surprisingly enough. Now, what is it like traveling around with no data and no idea how to speak the language? Oh, it is crazy. Imagine this. Each station has a map to tell you where you are, and I use that to figure out how to get around. I got insanely sick, coughing a lot, fever, headache. I was basically out for a couple days completely, other than, getting a quick meal to eat. And I didn't really take that much video footage in those couple days. I just felt terrible. My plan for being there for 12 days turned into 9 days left to do anything. It felt bad, but I guess that's what happens when you're traveling for almost 2 to 3 months. Now that we have data, we can finally adventure around. This is called Nodul Island. Sorry if my pronunciation is off. It's a very cute and cozy park. There's a small public area for studying, a place to get drinks and eat. There was a lot of spots to set up for a nice picnic and just hang out. I asked this guy to film his piano skills, and I hung out listening to him for over 20 minutes. Yeah, here's a clip of the music, and I'm sure it's gonna get DMCA'd if it's too long, but these are the songs that he was playing. So one thing I did a lot in South Korea is go to a bunch of malls, shopping districts, and I didn't buy too much, but it was interesting to see the differences in brands and clothing styles of a lot of these places. Of course, you had, things like Adidas, sporty wear, things like that. I didn't get anything like that, and it honestly didn't interest me. I could get that anywheres.
So there's just a mix of food places and clothing stores in the same area, and I'm kind of just where the fuck am I? You know what I'm saying? It's just bakery place over there where it was before. They had a donut area beside the clothes, so that's interesting. And they got more over there. All right, I think we're on the 5th floor. Update, I'm still lost. But this floor is called a fashion park. And I think it's all the really expensive brands or something. I don't know. Everything looks pretty fancy. It's got Club Monaco. Pretty sure that's an expensive brand. Alright, so I think we did all of that one. We went into Uniqlo, went up there. I think we checked out a couple places up there in like floor 4, 5, 6, I don't know. And then at the top of this, there was like Outback Steakhouse. So I'm gonna go to this side and then check out floor 1 and 2. I saw this cool little ad on the inside. It's like a Gundam shop. So I'm gonna see if I can find that. I don't know if that's like in this mall with fans. The Gundam base. Alright, well, let's go see if we can find that. So I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm in Hyoyung Gong something park. I forgot what it was called. But they have like a little fair going on. And there's a bunch of food and everything. I bought a cute little box of popcorn. It was like 5,000 won. It honestly wasn't too bad. It's like caramel. But yeah, there's fireworks going on. So we're gonna try to find a small little seat or something. I don't know if it's over yet, but we'll have to see. I think they were just doing tests a couple minutes ago. Oh my god, these things are the funniest little things. It's so funny. They're like these like tri-bicycles that you can fit 3 people on. Oh my god, there's like 4 people on this one. Yeah. It's so funny. I've never seen that before. Oh, and they're standing on the back. That's great. I love it. Alright boys, you're about to see the fucking craziest thing I've ever seen. That's a boat up there. And over there, wait, if we could zoom in, that's a fucking 7-Eleven on a boat. Dude, that's too much, man. That's too much.
Wow, look at all these pictures I took in landscape. Crazy how I didn't do any of that before. Now, a couple notable areas. First, this big building is the National Museum of Korea. This place was actually really cool, and there was a ton of history of Korea, art, and this large structure here is called a 10-story pagoda. The building has 3 floors, and the really cool thing, it was completely free. Not only that, they had a huge garden right outside, plus, you know, it was really cool to walk around the paths and find all the plants. This here was called Bungwensa Temple. They had plenty of Buddha statues, decorations, and there was a Buddha statue that was 20 meters tall, which is actually insane. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anything so big before. Plus, the gardens to walk around here was actually really neat. You know, they had paths and tons of beautiful trees there. Similar to Japan, South Korea has a couple blossom trees, but their fringe tree, also known as the apomnamu, are almost at every park and in a lot of streets. When going around, I actually saw so many of them around. Now, another fun site I was able to check out was the Gangnam Style statue, where they filmed some of the music video. Now, obviously, we had to visit Hongdae Street. I didn't really take very much video of the area there, mostly because it was so crowded. Plus, I really shouldn't be taking videos and photos of people, so I tried to refrain from doing so when I could. Now, what can you actually find here? Clothing shops, food, party spots, and people showing off their dance moves, doing their favorite K-pop choreography. Plus, here, you can find the bars and clubs to party in. Now, getting around. So you have a couple options. You have Kakao Tea, which is their version of Uber or Grab. We also have the ability to use rental bikes that are everywhere. These cost anywhere from 1,000 Korean won, which is around $1 in Canadian. This gets you about an hour of time. Now, you could spend, I think, 1,500 to 2,000 for a full day, which is actually super affordable. Alright, next, you have the trains, which was my main transportation. Depending on the distance, it starts around 1,500 for a ticket. Now, you could get a rechargeable card, but I was unsure how to get those. The single-use card system that they have is actually really neat since it gives you a little plastic card, and when you get to the location, You insert it into the machine, and you get a small amount back. It's basically a deposit system to incentivize card reuse. All right, they do have buses, but I believe you needed the rechargeable cards, which I had no idea how to get still. Then, another spot. I went to an internet cafe. It was more like a high-end gaming den, and it was amazingly cheap to spend a couple hours in one of these places. It was around 2,000 won for 4 hours. That's like $2. Now, other than spending my trip sick and a lot of time spent getting myself set up here, it was actually still a lot of fun and an interesting experience. It really brought me out of my comfort zone. Try new food, explore new culture, and getting the feel of what life is like here. I did have a coughing problem here, and I'm unsure if that was because I was not used to the environment or due to my sickness or, other than that, I'd love to hear. Next video is my time hiking in South Korea. Yes, I touched grass and saw some pretty cool scenic views and a bit more of what I was able to do. But make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.